So in today's video, I'm going to bring you guys 5 League 2 managers who could be sacked during the 2024-25 campaign. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 100 likes on today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're now on the road to 9,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts on as well down in the comment section down below. As always with a video like this, it is going to cause a little bit of debate and controversy. Obviously you would expect more than 5 managers to be sacked throughout next season, and these are all just potentials when you factor in expectations, transfers and all that sort of stuff, and just my personal opinion on these managers. Let's waste no further time though and get straight into it. So the first manager who I believe could be sacked during next campaign is Mike Williamson of MK Dons. Now when I throw you some statistics around and you look at his managerial record, you think, why will Mike Williamson be sacked next season? Because MK Dons has obviously done a very good job. He has a 52.6% win percentage over his, I think, 3-4 years stay, something like that with Gateshead. He had a 47.4% win percentage as well. He's won 20 out of his 38 matches while being manager of MK Dons. He's won 103 out of 213 as a manager in general, and his statistics do look very good, but the pressure at MK Dons next season is to win the title. If they do not win the league next season, it is a failure. If they finish second, great, they got promoted back into League 1, but it still has to be considered a failure when you look at their transfer business. At the time of recording, Max Dean is still an MK Dons player, but if they lose him, obviously a very significant loss. But if they get in over £1 million for him and they get someone with as bad an attitude as Matt Dean off the wage bill, I think that's a very good piece of business in my opinion, and I think MK Dons will then be able to replace somebody like Max Dean. But let me just list off some of the signings that they've made. Tommy Lee from Accrington Stanley for £300,000. Sam Sherrin came in from Northampton Town, dropping down a division. Tom Carroll, very experienced midfielder. Luke Offord, one of the best centre-halves in this division when he's fit. Connor Lemonade Evans, Joe Pritchard, Lawrence Maguire, Liam Kelly from Crawley Town, one of the best central midfielders in the division last season. And they've even got out some of their defenders who weren't the greatest, in all honesty. The likes of Warren O'Hara has gone to Hibernian. Cameron Norman turned down the new contract and moved on to Tranmere Rovers. They also saw Dan Harvey move up to Wycombe Wanderers in League 1. They also let Dan Kemp go because it never really worked out for him at MK Dons, but he'll probably go on and smash it with Stevenage in League 1. But I just personally feel with the expectations being so high at MK Dons next season, you could maybe see Mike Williamson getting a sack if they have a slow start, similar to what happened with Graham Alexander last campaign. I know that was more to do with his style of playing, stubbornness, rather than the results, but I do think it's unlikely Williamson will be sacked, but I certainly think there is room for a conversation to be had about that because the expectations will be so high next campaign. But in my personal opinion, I do think Mike Williamson could get the chop next season. Next up then, we have Paul Simpson of Carlisle United. Now I'm not just saying this for interactions and because it might get a couple of bites. Hear me out and let me explain my reasons why. I feel like it's unlikely Paul Simpson will be sacked next season because if the Piatex were going to come in and they wanted a change of management, it was very easy to do it last season when Carlisle were, let's be honest, absolutely awful. But even in January, when they got some of their nice recruits in there, they spent a big money in January. That's Harry Lewis, Georgie Kelly, Luke Armstrong, just to name a few, all came into the building. Paul Simpson never really turned that team around and they never really looked like surviving, in all honesty. The first half of the season, you could completely understand their squad was absolutely nowhere near good enough to compete with survival, but post-January, when they made a decent amount of signings and spent big money, nothing really changed, and that is what slightly does concern me going into next season. Again, the expectation for Carlisle this season has to get into that top 3. Yes, their squad was poor last campaign, but you look at their recruitment so far. Archie Davies coming in from Dundalk for €75,000. Cameron Harper coming in on a free transfer from Inverness. Ethan Robson coming in the midfield from MK Dons. Charlie Wyke returning to the football club as well. If he stays fit next season, easily gets you 20 goals. Then also the experienced centre-half duo of Terrell Thomas and Aaron Hayden. They've got some players out the door as well who were not really contributing much. They've just let them go on free transfers. They've got a Thian as well for Jack Arm, which I do think is a very good business. But again, similar to Mike Williamson, because the expectations are so high at Carlisle United next season, if they have a slow start, then maybe we're yet to see how patient the Pirates could potentially be when the pressure is on. There was no pressure on Paul Simpson last season. Everybody knew Carlisle were going to go down after the first 8 games of the season, let's be honest. And this time round at Carlisle United, his managerial record isn't the greatest. He's only won 38 of 121 matches with the football club, just a 31.4% win percentage. Yes, he did absolutely unbelievably in the 22-23 season to get them promoted through the playoffs, beating Bradford over 2 legs, and then also beating Stockport on penalties at Wembley. But since then, it's kind of just been decline really for Carlisle United. This season, the expectation at the absolute minimum has to be that top 7, but I personally think they could be aiming for that top 3 if they carry on recruiting in the way they have so far. Every single one of their signings massively improves their team, apart from maybe Jude Smith, but he's more of a long-term project in my personal opinion. I think there is certainly room for a conversation about the sacking of Paul Simpson next season, but again, similar to Mike Williamson, I do think at this moment in time that probably is quite unlikely. Next up then, we have Johnny Jackson at AFC Wimbledon. Now, again, last season I was surprised that he didn't get the sack, in all honesty, and I'd be willing to put a decent amount on the line that Jackson will get a chop throughout next season. I just feel like the expectations for AFC Wimbledon are here, but the realistic aims for AFC Wimbledon next season are probably here. They are expecting top 7, but I think again they'll be in and around mid-table, in all honesty. Since Johnny Jackson came in at AFC Wimbledon 2 years ago now, he's managed 112 matches and only won 38 of them with a 33.93% win percentage, which isn't particularly great, in all honesty. He did a very good job with Charlton Athletic. He had nearly a 50% win percentage there, but since moving to AFC Wimbledon, it's just never really worked out there. They've never really had that bounce back ability to get back into League One, and I look at their transfer business, it's not massively impressed me, in all honesty. Some big players turning down contracts with them to sign for fellow League Two sides, the likes of Armani Little joining Gillingham, Ronan Curtis joining Port Vale, Jack Curry leaving the club as well for Oxford United, but again they'll get some big money in for him, I think around £500,000. And I look at their recruitment so far, Miles Hippolyte could be a decent signing, Matthew Stevens could be a decent signing, but apart from that, won't say I'm massively impressed with their business, in all honesty. Alistair Smith has proven to be okay at this level, but hasn't really done it for a couple of seasons now, and I just feel like the expectations at AFC Wimbledon next season are to get into the top 7, but their squad, it's a mid-table squad in my opinion, and I think they've got a mid-table manager, and that is a recipe for disaster. So I personally believe, and I'm more confident about this one than the previous 2, Johnny Jackson will probably be sacked during the 24-25 season. Before we go any further though with today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. We are aiming for 100 likes on today's video. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. We are now on the road to 9,000 subscribers. Get your thoughts in as well down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below, who do you support and do you think your manager will be sacked in the next campaign? The penultimate manager then on today's list is Matt Sadler of Walsall FC. Now again, very similar to AFC Wimbledon. I think the expectations, and rightly so at Walsall, going into next season should be the top 7, but again their squad is mid-table, maybe even below that, and their manager, I'm yet to be overwhelmed by Matt Sadler as a manager. He took over as the Walsall gaffer on the 19th of April 2023. He's managed 57 games, his only managerial job in his career, and he's won 21 of them with a 36.84% win percentage, which isn't awful, but that is not good enough to get you into the top 7. And again, I look at Walsall's transfer business this summer, it's been underwhelming to say the least, in all honesty. They brought back Josh Gordon to the football club. I mean, what did he score? 1 goal over his League 2 and League 1 spell at the last campaign. They have brought back David Okabu, which I think could be a solid signing for them. Connor Barrett as well at right back, I think will be a decent threat on that side. Charlie Wakin is a good midfielder, but he's no Isaac Hutchinson, is he? He moved on to Bristol Rovers for around £300,000, which is obviously a very good fee to get in, but the quality that they've lost there is significant in my opinion. I think their lack of business is also very concerning, considering the amount that they probably needed to do this summer. With the season starting in less than a month's time, I do think there is certainly a conversation to be had about the potential departure of Matt Sadler next season, especially if the expectations are to be to get in that top 7. I would probably struggle to put Walsall in the top half at this moment in time. So in my personal opinion, I could certainly see a world where Matt Sadler is not the Sadler's manager come the end of the 24-25 campaign. And the final manager then on today's list is Stuart Maynard of Notts County. Now I think there's definitely room for a conversation here. He has managed 19 matches since taking over from Luke Williams, who departed the club for Swansea a couple of months ago now. He took over in January around the middle of that and has managed 19 games. He's only won 5 though and lost 11 with a 26.32% win rate, which is absolutely terrible in all honesty. His win percentage at Wealdstone wasn't really much better, to be fair, and he was there for around 3 years as well. And maybe last season you can blame it on Notts County's terrible defence and the number of different goalkeepers that they tried, and none of them really worked. But we go back to what happened a couple of days ago. Macaulay Langstaff joins Millwall for £758,000. That is such a significant loss for Notts County. Their expectations went from we have to be challenging for the title to we'd be happy with a top 7 finish, and it all depends how Notts County go about trying to replace Langstaff. But their striking options at the moment, while Jatta's decent, Scott is okay for this level, they're obviously no Macaulay Langstaff. He has scored goals for fun at this level and even the division below for a number of years. I'm a massive fan of their recruitment so far. I think Jacob Bidu and Matty Platt are 2 unbelievable defensive signings, certainly an improvement on the likes of Geraldo Bajrami, Aidan Baldwin, Richard Brinley, Connell Rawlinson, Kyle Cameron. Them types of players, they are 2 brilliant signings. Nick Strualua, I think, is a very, very good option as well at left wing back. There's rumours at the moment Jody Jones might be going to Stockport, which would obviously be a massive loss, but I think Strualua will be a really, really good signing for Notts County. Curtis Edwards, I don't know too much about in the midfield, but certainly brings a lot of experience. Rob McDonald as well, decent centre-half option. Alex Bass, I'm not entirely convinced by him, but statistically he was one of the better goalkeepers in the division last campaign, and I just feel like, again, the expectations will be so high at Notts County next season that, again, if they have a slow start or they're not in and around that top 3, top 7 at the absolute minimum, I could certainly see room where there is a potential change of manager. Notts County fans, let me know down below, how confident are you in Stuart Maynard to get you promoted from this division and get you back into League One? But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 100 likes, as I said at the start of today's video, that would be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're now on the road to 9,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed. If you haven't already, with that post notification bell on, it's free to do so, and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts on as well down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below, who do you support and do you think your manager will be sacked next campaign, and also your thoughts on my list. You agree or disagree with the potential managers who I think could depart their clubs this season? Thank you all very much for watching today's video. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Peace.